Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Garmin Gravel bikepacking adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian.
And I'm Joey.
And I'm Jess.
This, everybody, is episode 183 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you're new here, this is a podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping. This week, we're going to talk about
Gravel Worlds.
That's right, or just playing bikes. Before we get there, though, everybody looked so sharp that was wearing their Cutaway USA kits this week, last week, out in Gravel Worlds. Even though Cutaway USA is born where, Jess?
In the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Cutaway USA kits, their premium cycling apparel, crushed the Midwest gravel.
It did.
They did awesome. They look so good. Cutaway, folks, if you don't know, is an industry leader using innovative fabrics combined with clean, bold designs. Make sure to visit their website at cutawayusa.com to see all the jerseys and bibs and other fun stuff that they give us all to wear.
So I was actually looking, I'll bring this up again, but I have a plethora of Nittany bags on my bike.
Yes.
But I was also looking for more ways to carry food because between the two aid stations, there was a good 30-ish miles.
Yes, that was,
So I was like, oh man, I could have really used some pockets on my bibs because my waffles would have fit in there and I didn't have to put them all over the place. So
absolutely, gotta love the big cargo bib pockets.
I say they have extra small, medium, and extra large available right now for your 20% off discount.
Cool.
On the website.
That's right. Use the code GTD20 when you head over to their website and put all the stuff in your shopping cart, and you can take a whole 20% off that. Basically, if you buy just a few things, you can get a thing free.
there you go.
That's how
it works.
It's 20%
exactly.
is
So actually, let's sidetrack a little bit. We were buying shoes last night, and if you spent $75 or more, you get $25 off.
okay.
Well, basically, I did a first order, and then I got a couple pair for myself. I waited for my discount code, bought Jess's. Hers was $5 short, but then I found her a pair of shoes on sale and used the discount code. I paid an extra $10 and got a whole other pair of shoes.
See, that's how it
You got to
works.
spend money to get free money.
It's you're losing money if
Yeah.
you don't go to Cutaway USA and buy their stuff, because you could also lose something very important and valuable if you don't have a cargo bib pocket to put it in.
Exactly.
Like Brian lost his Dynaplug. Do you know how nervous I was on Gravel Worlds
You did lose your Dynaplug.
without having a Dynaplug in my bag? I was sweating. And I had these people riding along beside me at one point, and one of them popped the tire, had a flat, and you can hear it going, and it's like, oh no, not me, please, not me, please, not.
Every man and woman for themselves.
All right, we're going to do a Gravel Worlds recap later, but before I do that, the equipment, Joey, you did a perfect job on getting the bike set up.
Thank you.
Those Terabell Washburn 42s ended up to be the perfect tire choice. Absolutely.
That
hands
is literally,
down.
we were all on Washburns here.
Yeah.
They're am I allowed to say it? They're like the nicer version of the Pathfinders, in my opinion.
There's something
They're a little
about the little
elevated.
tread on the outside. Also, I think you set me up with the endurance tire.
Yes.
So that I felt really confident on, especially without my Dynaplug in my kit. I started off when we first got there, and we're going to do the whole rundown. I started off at 45 PSI, and I quickly dropped that back all the way down to the 40, which is the lowest that would go. And you probably think it probably could go a little lower than that, but I didn't want to push it. We were talking about this while I was away. Quad Lock has a new mag mount that's out to offer magnetic wireless charging, as well as the ability to use some new Quad Lock mag mounts in addition to that lock, working on all of their old mounts as well. And I've got one on its way for a new phone because I'm upgrading my phone. And I was like, okay, now's the time. So, and really not.
Is that worse as a chest mount for people with pacemakers?
It might. It might. There could be something like that.
You already get a new phone?
No, not yet. I wanted to get. I do that every time I get a phone. I go and I buy the phone and I buy a cheap case, and then I buy the real case later on. I'm doing it backwards this time. I actually know what phone I want to get, so I'm buying the case that I want first. As soon as the case comes in, then I'll go upgrade.
I feel like you just got your phone.
The phone. No, it's been around a while. Before Jess and I dive into
my little tiny segment.
Your little tiny segment. You've dropped some big news.
All right. Well, first, my dog stepped on a bee. Oh, just kidding.
That's an Amber Heard thing. That's a Johnny
Dog
Depp.
stepped on a bee.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, did he really?
No, God no. Yeah, some big news in the shop. We're hardcore P&W now.
Mm-hmm.
That brand has been amazing.
Yeah.
I'm leading up to the other one, but no, I actually just I ordered it. It showed up today. I got their Coast suspension dropper seat post.
Like it?
So, which is going to help out the Libre. The Libre is getting all rival axis, pimping out my ride.
Nice.
Yeah, no, we actually got to put a really big announcement, but we are now the I want to say Mid-Atlantic. No, we are the Southern Maryland dealer of Cannondale bicycles.
Congratulations.
Wow.
That was some work, but it's well worth it. And between Cannondale, Specialized, and Kona, I mean
you got a great lineup.
That's a great lineup, and Jameis is kind of still on the side, and with Salsa coming back in,
That's a great
Jameis
lineup.
and Salsa won't be as much, but if we get to the pre-COVID times where I can order a Salsa next day, but in stock, Cannondale.
Can't wait to see one of those top stones.
I should have a top stone. So actually, yeah, we might have top stones very soon.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff coming in the next week or so. Stuff's
the timing.
already shipping.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say we will have gravel bikes this fall.
Awesome.
From Cannondale.
Congratulations. I know you've been working on that for a
It's
long
been a lot of work. It's been very nice. And Will from Cannondale's great. The brand's great. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, I've loved Cannondale for a long time.
You talk
So
about
it's
that.
really
wasn't it
nice
that
having
Super Evo 6 or something that you were.
all their bikes are
Super
pretty.
6 or something?
I'm not, and the way we're working the store, and I can do a whole podcast on it, but I'm splitting, a lot of stuff. I do think Specialized makes some of the best mountain bikes out there. I'm not going to go heavy into mountain bikes. I'll carry the neighborhood mountain bikes, like the $600, $700. I consider anything under $900 more of a neighborhood mountain bike.
It's a nice term. I like that.
It'll do light duty trails when you're on it, but it's not meant to do the abuse that we're riding. But other than that, we'll stick with a lot of hybrids and road and gravel, especially the gravel.
Okay.
So yeah, looking very forward to the first shipment.
Nice. We're going to put them all.
Oh, you haven't seen the store?
No, I haven't been.
Oh man, you know how I like to move stuff?
Yeah.
I dramatically move stuff.
Really? Okay.
We have a little area called the fishbowl / operating room. We moved the service area is now in the glass room.
I knew that's what
It's
had
set
to
up so
happen
nice.
anyway.
So it paddles out, but we did that to make room for Cannondale.
Nice.
And the counter will eventually go, and we will be. The store looks so much bigger.
Yeah,
it looks great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all very excited.
Cool.
It's 2022. If you're relying on one big brand like Specialized or Trek without any secondaries, and Cannondale's not really a secondary, it just lines up with us.
So you got two primaries.
You got to figure out a new business strategy. People want to shop, and you got to have different.
Mm-hmm.
All your eggs in one basket, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I know
it's nice to be able to come to a shop.
unless you want to be a
compare.
corporate store.
Well, there are ones that are doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be one of the big tea stores if you'd like.
If you want to, but
Why would you want to do that? I wouldn't want. I think it's the right move at the right time, and I know you put a crap ton of effort into it. I didn't know anything about it.
I thought I leaked it to you a little bit.
I knew there was something in the works, and it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what it might be. With all the moves,
You thought I was going to say Pinarello.
No,
God, I don't want that brand.
no.
I love that brand. I don't want the custom. Oh man, that's live now.
Joey didn't. Brian didn't read the email, and I was laying in my cot and I took a screenshot and circled it for Brian so that he could read it.
Yeah.
And on the top, it has you texting me, but me sending the message to Brian.
So Jess was the bearer of the news. There was no way. I was so tired. I've been tired for like a week and a half. Now, if you guys think about it, I started running. I did North Carolina.
You ran?
For like
you haven't been
5
home
weeks.
in like a year.
It's been 5 weeks. New York to North Carolina to New York, back to North Carolina to Connecticut. Then
You need to do a hard bike ride from home. Wear yourself out.
Yeah.
We'll go to Richmond tomorrow. We're going to ride the Richmond trails tomorrow with Wilson, our Kona rep.
Nice.
But yeah, long story short, we want brands we like in the store. And the new business strategies having well versed. It's like, yeah, we went super heavy with Ceres, but we also just went super heavy with Kuai. Like you gotta have, you gotta have Wahoo, you gotta have it all. We've been fortunate that we can do that. But I mean, look at other.
Got the buying power. You've got the buying power. Leverage it.
We got a good owner, Lori, who's
Now, does that mean that Cannondale's also going to be up in College Park as well?
Yeah, we're split down the middle. I actually realized I have a lot of Konas in my store.
Mm.
We got some new Roves in. We haven't had Roves, and I don't know if we've ever technically had a Rove in our shop.
That's
we
a
got
strong
multiples.
Bike. The Rove's a strong bike.
The Rove's like your shorter distance. You can still do long stuff on it, whereas the Sutra is like long haul. Super, a little bit stiffer. We got a lot of bikes. We got steel bikes. We got hybrids. We got $5,000 mountain bikes from Kona. We got everything.
Nice.
So we,
I saw a lot of Otsos.
Yeah.
And, well, if you think about it, the Otso brand is a Midwest brand.
Oh, Minnesota, yeah.
So, I saw a crap ton of them.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of stainless steel Workins. I saw a lot of Wahilas. Just on and on and on. In fact, we were driving home and a young girl pulled up in the car next to us, had a Specialized, looked like a Diverge, and then had a second bike, which was a stainless version of the Work, and that she'd won the frame and had set it all up with the same little blue.
And just winning a frame.
Right? Does that even happen?
That's messy.
Just throwing peanut butter at herself.
I rode with an Otso last weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, who did Croatan, he had that green accident one. He rode our gravel ride.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so real quick, the nice thing about that is I felt naked because I was in my cutaway kit. It was so comfortable. I didn't even notice. No saddle issues.
Nope.
No clothing issues. I've actually come down with like this form of, we don't really have a name. It's almost like exercise-induced asthma now. Since I had that respiratory infection, and I actually got my ass kicked. I don't think people realize how bad I was hurting and not good I was doing. Like
your planes ride?
Oh yeah, Jess knew. I was not feeling it. Like I was struggling. Like I finally was puffing my inhaler, but I was losing my energy so quick. The climbs weren't as smooth as they should be, and I'm not in the same shape as I was last year. Like a year ago, yesterday or today was the day that me and Tyler were supposed to go out for like a 10-mile gravel ride at Covert Cliffs. And then I texted you, and you're like, you want to ride? You end up doing 100 miles, just winged it.
Oh, yeah.
I did like 70, 80.
Yeah.
And, last year I was in that type of shape.
Yeah.
But now, since I'm having, the mountain biking's been great because it's short bursts. We stop frequently, and I can handle that. But yesterday I did a hard mountain bike ride without, I just was solo. The plains ride kind of wore me out really fast. So I've been to a doctor. I got blood work today. I got to follow up, and I have like a daily big inhaler that I take. I have my little inhaler I got to take when I do activities, and
you can fit that right in the cargo bib pocket.
It fit nice in my little Nittany bag, my little frame half pack. But
speaking of mountain bikes,
yeah.
So this one over here.
So you're standing up and doing everything now?
Standing up in the gravel, taking everything. Jess, you were just.
Oh yeah, I could tell when she rode the plains with us.
Yeah, it was.
She was smoking me.
Huge difference. Huge difference. Great bike handling skills, Jess.
Yeah, she got much better.
Yeah.
I think doing that ride at the plains gave her a lot of confidence to go out as far as distance, elevation, because it's 40 miles. That was 3,500 feet in Virginia. She had no problem with the climb. She just did her own thing and freaking sang ABBA the whole time. Hey, and then
it's a coping strategy.
And then we went to the Safeway to get like the last Safeway was like a 3/4 of the way refill. and freaking ABBA was playing over the speaker. No, the plane ride was great. I think we had like 15, maybe 20 people. We had some GTD kits there. Multiple listeners and customers and friends, and
Nice.
Even Tom got a new Divergent came out, and I think he started listening to podcasts again because I think he's still one of our bigger supporters.
Thank you, Tom. Continued support is always appreciated.
And it was great. The weather it was 55 when we got there.
Nice.
I said I was cold. I was cold in the parking lot.
That was one thing about Nebraska, the humidity.
No humidity?
Not no humidity, but not like we have humidity. That was huge. Did you notice it as well?
We actually noticed it the most when we got off the airplane in DC. And we're like,
girl,
good grief, it's hot here.
Yeah.
Like, and the temperature wasn't different. It was just the humidity here.
Yeah, and they were complaining about the humidity out there, and we were like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Corn-induced humidity is a real thing, I guess. And it's true.
It was popping on the side of the road.
No, we were popping on the side of the road.
Oh wow. No, it started cool. It didn't get hot. It didn't get like hot. It was warm, but it was a perfect day. Everyone loved the route. The route was perfect.
Good.
It is definitely different gravel in the plains than Loudon. Like it is unmanned, unmaintained, big ruts, big rocks. Like my 47s I've been running 35 because of bigger volume.
How low can I take those 40? Those
35.
35, you think?
Yeah.
Is the 40,
35.
Says 40.
So go 40 in the rear and 35 up front.
Okay.
The
The 40 worked great for me.
Now the 42s look so small when I look at Jess's bike and your bike. Yeah. From the 47s, but long story short, I think we got 2.5 to 3 miles in, and Jess is like, "You didn't put my battery on my bike." So we met at a corner. Everyone left. I had to ride back. I had like an extra 6 miles.
I was just going to forfeit and sit at the coffee shop, but Joey said that was not an option. So
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And man, that's a nice little town to do a gravel ride at because you start at the bike shop, coffee shop. There's 2 great places to get food when you're done.
Right.
I mean, we just hit Chick-fil-A, but we did get coffee.
Was there Wawa? Oh,
I kept asking. I was like, does anybody know if there's Wawa around here?
No
Wawa. Oh, well.
That's it. I mean, that's been me. I've been riding the crap out of the Kona or the mountain bike, the Hey.
Jess, do you have anything outside of Gravel Worlds that
the plains?
So you enjoyed that, right? You talked a lot about it.
The plains was really great. I liked riding. And Joey's right. We were hightailing it really fast from when Joey got my battery to when we met up with everybody else.
Could have put you in a hole.
And
could have been a part of the problem.
I never thought I rode so fast in my life. Just because I wanted to catch up. Joey just went back to get my battery, so I didn't want to complain. And I just rode literally as fast as I could the entire time.
Then my mother-in-law came the next day, and like we played pickleball. I had to put my knee brace on, take my inhaler. Where like
no, Jess said that you used
the dorky kid at the playground.
You used your Garmin watch to record.
My Garmin watch to play pickleball. I had so much fun playing pickleball.
I told the League of Garmin man, I was like, my husband uses this when we play pickleball, and he like looked at me a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, the Phoenixes have a pickleball.
There's a pickleball setting. Yes.
I think I'm pretty much done for the episode now. Till this or that.
Do you want to? No, because you got a lot of
that.
You got a lot of reaction stuff. You want to do Strava Club before?
Yeah, Strava Club.
Into Gravel Worlds.
Kelly Riley from Wilmington. What is Delaware? I'm just kidding. 171. I haven't done this in a while. 171.3. Scott Pollock. Pollock. Does this guy know Larry?
Probably.
From Morgantown, West Virginia, with 127.2. And Dave Easley from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We call that guy an Oklahomie with 184.9. You never heard that before?
Yes, I've heard that.
Oh, that was hilarious. I've never heard it before, and it was amazing, Joey.
I think he's an Okie from Muskogee.
And how many did you
sorry, yeah.
It's been a while. I know. It's okay.
I know. We needed 125.9 to get to the top 100.
That's down a little bit.
I was close a week or so ago.
Heat.
But we were up to 855. I would have thought coming back from Gravel Worlds, you guys would have spread the word.
No. We're getting close to. I mean, we're slowly inching up. We're going to hit 1,000 fortunately. And you get a plaque when you get to 1,000 members in the Strava.
It was like a YouTube platinum plaque. But
no, that doesn't happen. That's not
Strava?
a real thing. Strava
should do that.
How can folks find us, Joey, if they want to get in there?
If you want to get in that and get up in there nice and deep, like you go to Strava.com And just go to the search bar and hit Gravel Travel Dirt.
You'll find us.
But if you're old school, strava.com/clubs/Gravel Travel Dirt.
All right, let's dive into Gravel Worlds. Now,
Dun, 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 Gravel Worlds.
I'm gonna walk through the stuff we did probably just before you
You
get there.
should ride through it.
And then we will, as you enter the story, just dive in.
Can I just say, Jess realized she had to go to Nebraska to hang out with Father Dave when he only lives like 5 hours away.
It was really good to see Dave.
Dave and I had
She had so much fun with Dave.
Dave and I haven't been like close. I've just been like Joey's wife. But like Dave quoted me on my buttery soft leggings.
Yes.
And he was like, "What do you call these leggings?" And I was like, "Black leggings." Like we were going through them.
I like going when we were at the gravel ride. I was Jess's husband. Which
Yes.
that makes me excited.
So many times it was like, oh, I know
cool.
Jess. I was like, talk to somebody like, oh, I know
like being
Jess.
Jess's husband, not Joey's or hers, Joey's wife. But
Okay, so the folks there was 5 of us that went out. It's myself and Jess, obviously, and Larry and Nadine and Amanda. And Larry, Nadine, and myself actually drove out. So Nadine and I left Monday afternoon to head to West Virginia to hook up with Larry. And we pull up into Larry's, never been to Larry's house before. Larry has got like the primo West Virginia hookup. The little creek that runs through the front of the yard. He's got the fire pit right out in front of the house. We pull up, the fire pit is, I don't know if I can't remember if it was actually already started or going, but Betsy was out there. We never even made it into the house. We just all gathered around.
did you have someone sitting there like that?
Fire pit. No, we all gathered around the fire pit and shared stories and, all of the excitement of heading out to Gravel Worlds. And it was just a really nice way to kind of kick off the drive that ended up to be very, very long. We left early Tuesday to drive from West Virginia straight through to Nebraska. Now you look on the Google Maps and it tells you 16 hours. It took us an actual drive time of 21 hours.
Because how, you're stopping for gas.
Well, a lot of it
Your
had
car
to do
might
with
be doing 45.
your car might not be able to get up to speed with certain things that are happening to it.
You stop. It's just stuff here. I never trust Google
Well,
Maps.
It's a lot different time when I share the time coming back. Just remember that, folks. 16 hours projected, 21 hours actual drive time. We got to Lincoln about 2:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Now, Jess, did I nail it with the Airbnb location for this trip?
It was very nice.
Yep. Well, that's all I get is very nice.
She said it was nice.
I was turning down the road and I was like, Amanda, I do not trust Brian with his Airbnb rentals. Because when you turn down that road, it was just like a little side street road.
Okay, to give Brian a little slack, I booked the unpaved one last year. That wasn't Brian.
Shauna. So
I would take credit for the creepy one, and I'm never doing that again.
So the Airbnb, in my opinion, was really on point. It was well appointed. It was clean. It was very comfortable. And we had the gravel roads of Nebraska right out our back door,
and a cat named Mittens.
and a cat named.
But his real name isn't Mittens.
We don't know what.
named him
We
Mittens.
don't know what.
Nadine brought mittens in the store today.
I was scared to death about an hour into the drive. We were going to discover Mittens because he was in and out of the car all. We were trying to pack it up.
And the Airbnb would say, "I lost my cat. Please send back."
I would get a horrible
Get like a
one-star
one-star
review because we stole their
That'd be a
cat.
funny one, though.
We're so confused right now.
I'd be like, "Can I ship it back to
You
you?"
could have dropped it off at Alex and Chris's house on the way home.
But not only was the gravel of Nebraska right at our back door, the actual course was about a mile maybe off, right? Something like that. It was. We were really close to not only all of the gravel, but
So you were a few miles from the start, but it ended up driving.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were about 6 or 7 miles from Shillingbridge, where the event started, the start finish line. But the course traveled west, which is where we were. So all we had to do is ride about a mile north, and we were actually on course. In fact, Larry and I did a lot of that. We left Wednesday morning at about 10 a.m. for a projected 40-ish mile ride that was actually mostly route. So Larry and I went and did that while Nadine was attending to her car issues. So Larry and I headed out, and that was our first opportunity to get wheels on Nebraska gravel. Now, Nebraska gravel is sandy, which kind of surprised
What
me.
it tastes like?
You know what? I should have actually tasted
Just in a little, like,
yeah,
salty, grain, you know.
little gravel snort. It's loose, and this was what I found interesting. It is farmer maintained, so the gravel. We did this a couple times. We rode in the morning, and then we rode again in the late afternoon. And we would go out on a road, and there would be like defined lines for car tracks, for tire tracks. And then in the afternoon, they were gone. Somebody had scraped it, had used a box scraper and pulled all the gravel back over top of it. And talking to some guys at the expo, some people that own some shops in Omaha or something, I can't remember where they were from, but they let us know. It's like, the reason that happens is the farmers go out in the afternoon and pull the gravel back out so that when they take their equipment out, they don't have to hit the washboard. Because the gravel out there is probably about 2 inches deep. It's sandy. On the bottom of it is a very hard layer of dirt. And that layer of dirt is washboard. I mean, big washboard, like jar your teeth. Am I right, Jess? That it would want to take you off
How
the
does
bike.
washboard form again?
Remember we did that very early. It's just the resonation of the car wheels, the way that there's different air pressures and they start to bounce. And then once they start to bounce, they just continue to form the little hills. But they're not going away. And what they do is pull the gravel over top of it. So it's still a very, very, very fast gravel environment. It's not ruts. You're talking about the ruts out in Loudon and Virginia. It's like there's no washout, because they maintain it so much, it doesn't get that gravel wash, and you don't develop the ruts.
Yeah.
You are always going up or going down. It's a sawtooth. There's no long flat. There's no long descent. There's no long up either. You're either going down 4% or you're going up 4 to 6%. And then you just hit the top and you turn around and you go right back down. So over the course of a day, you get a lot of elevation for very short distances. You'll see it when you look at the course. But on that first ride, and I think a lot of it had to do with lack of sleep, I bonked really hard. I haven't done that in a long time. Larry was looking at me like, I've never seen you actually like this. And it hit
In
me
that
hard.
Joey form?
I think it was the lack of sleep and poor nutrition and just eager. So we limped it on back home. And then that Wednesday night, there was the route meeting at CycleWorks, sort of the first thing that was the bike related thing, but it also had to do with the 50Ks as well, where they talked about the routes and answered questions. So we headed out to a cidery in Lincoln, which is, I guess, apparently a big thing. And then we went to a dinner at a place in the Haymarket district. Now, looking at Lincoln is a really, really cool little town. Would you agree? It's clean. The people are super friendly. Through the course of the week, Larry and I spent a lot of time at the little general store in Malcolm, which is the general store that's on course at mile 10. The people in there were always friendly. The little tables, we'd go in and talk to people, and we'd sit there for half an hour drinking a Gatorade, and they'd talk to us and, ask us where we're from and, what we thought of Lincoln and how much they appreciated, all these people coming in. And it was neat. Lincoln was a cool town. I would go back there again in a heartbeat.
Have you ever looked, even like the year I went out to Dirty Kansas, the revenue of some of those businesses from 1 week of
I bet you. I bet you it's huge.
Oh, they're gonna paint your nails if you want them.
I know. I spent a lot of money at Shillingbridge.
Yeah, the amount of money that comes into that town in 1 week is amazing.
So that kind of wrapped up Wednesday. Then Thursday, we all went out for a morning ride, and about the 9-mile mark, Nadine had a chain that got sucked up behind the cassette of her rear wheel.
I think her hanger's bent and still bent.
Yeah, it's still bent. We tinkered with it and got it kind of straight, and then I think it just gradually came back. But this was the potential to be something very, very bad because the master link got sucked under the cassette, so I couldn't get to the master link. So I actually had to break the chain, pop a pin.
Pop a pin.
I had to pop a pin.
Pop elf.
Had to pop a pin and pull the chain off, get the wheel off, and then I rode the bike back to the house, got my tool bag. Joey, you'd be proud of me. I had
I'm proud of you.
I had all my cassette tools in my bag I brought with me. I was able to pull the cassette right off, pull the chain off, put everything right back together, reverse. Didn't even have to use the new master link put because she didn't have one. I was able to get that pin set reseated. That's pretty sharp. I feel good about that.
I should have told you that I had. Oh no, hers is 12-speed.
Yep, hers is 12
I
speed.
give her 2 master links.
Yep, and we looked for them, and just so that she would have one, but she was like, I wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. So, but week-ending disaster averted because of the tool bag over here. And I'm giving myself major props for that. Feeling good.
Just call yourself a tool bag.
Yeah. So we headed to the expo that was at the start finish at Shilling Bridge to get our check-ins, which we actually were able to pick up Jess's bag and Amanda's bag and get everybody's bag. So we had all that stuff kind of settled in. We met up with Eric and his wife Angie and their magic bag of whoopie pies. They brought whoopie pies from Pennsylvania, and they were delicious.
I got to hang out with Eric at Grinduro.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great guy. And Angie's great. And Angie's father, Steve, rode the 75.
Oh.
So they had a whole weekend. Angie ran a 50K.
And then
Eric did the 150.
Yeah.
And Angie's father did the 75. I think his name was Steve. Congratulations to all of them.
And their son's with them, and they're doing like a trip of all the ballparks too.
Yeah, they went to Kansas City. The coolest part about well, first off, Will was the coolest part about the whole entire thing.
Their son Will, yep.
Their son Will. But they put a picture on Instagram of like Eric like with his tongue hanging out, like being exhausted, and then Angie with her tongue being out, like being exhausted. And just it was really funny to see that both events were so grueling.
Yeah, they were. 50K is that's a long run. That's what, 33 miles? 31 miles? It's still long. 31, 33.
37 more than I'm running.
Yeah. So this is when the last, I think, big misadventure for Nadine. So we wandered by the Orange Mud tent. Orange Mud, they make bags and hydration packs, and Nadine fell in love with this bag from Orange Mud and bought one. She had this blue bag. We bought all this nutrition and food. Everything was in this blue bag. And then when we went to registration, we had all these bags, and then we were going to put them in the car. There was lots of like confusion over taking it to the car versus bringing the car. All this kind of stuff. But long story short, the blue bag that had Nadine's $140 Orange Mud hydration backpack and a lot of nutrition that she had bought, a lot of nutrition that I had bought, got either left somewhere, set aside somewhere, or somewhere. It was gone. So when we got back to, we did that night catch up with Dave for the first time. Dave came out and we went to the Good R party.
Holy balls.
Which, was a lot of fun. But
I'm looking at the Orange Mud prices.
Yes, it's 100. But it's worth it. It was worth it. I will get to that anyway. So we went back to the expo after we realized the blue bag was missing to see if we could figure out where it was. It was nowhere to be found. We went into registration to see if the bag had gotten turned in there. It was not there. So we had this cloud hanging over us Thursday night. Friday morning, Nadine goes to get the car fixed. Larry and I go out for about 16-mile ride. More stops at the general store. We had a great morning ride. Then we headed right to the expo at 11 a.m. when they opened to once more look for the missing bag, because we thought maybe the Fleet Feet, it was a blue Fleet Feet bag, that maybe somebody would have taken it to their tent.
Yeah. Or
it had this Orange Mud bag in it. Maybe somebody took it to them. So before we do that, we go back to the registration again to the check-in to see if there's any things that's been turned in. No luck there. Nadine goes over and talks to Josh at Orange Mud. And Josh hears the story, and Josh picks up a bag and says, "Here, Nadine, just take this one." Walking away. That, my friends...
That's a muddy situation.
That, my friends, is how you build an awesome brand.
Did you guys buy yours before or after that?
After that.
Okay.
So...
He's like, look at these two suckers.
No. So I hadn't really looked at the bags, because Nadine had done that sort of like side and we kind of walked through, but he heard her story and said, if you happen to find the bag and it pops back up, just bring it back to me. But here's a bag to replace it at no cost to you.
Dang.
Applause, applause, applause to Josh, who not only sells those bags, but he designed them, prototyped them, built them, and now puts them out into the marketplace. And that endurance, we ended up getting, well, we're going to tell you a little bit more about that later. So Jess and Amanda arrive. We left the expo after that and came back. Yeah.
You know they have their own podcast?
Orange Mud does?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. I've invited Josh. I told him we'd very much like him to come on the podcast. I've talked to the people over at Orange Mud, and yeah.
Okay. Back to your Richard.
Yeah.
Script.
So, I mean, yeah, honestly, that is how you build a brand, in my opinion.
Then he made a few $100s off, So it's,
Yeah, because we did later on. We went back and I gave him a long, hard look, and you sitting there talking to him about it. The bag is a 2-liter hydration pack that sits on your back, but it sits high on your back. It doesn't sit low.
It's like a running vest.
So you can still get in all your jersey pockets. It's not in the way at all. Then up on the shoulders, you have these Velcro pockets that sit up on the top that you can put hydration or put nutrition in, and then smaller pockets on the front that you can put.
Can you put the inflatable water bottles in the front ones?
Yeah. So the little soft hydration flask can fit in the front. So you're going to have more water there. Even down to on the top buckle is a whistle. So from a search and rescue kind of standpoint, you always have that ability to do that. And
you have the 3.0?
I have the 3.0, yes. I have the...
It looks excellent with our GTD kit.
It's the Orange Mud Endurance Pack 3.0.
Did you write it in the notes?
Yeah, it's later on.
Oh, I'm on the
That's okay.
website.
Sorry, it's a good side. So I can't gush about that enough. But then we go back to the house. Jess and Amanda arrive, and then we head right back over to the expo to give them the flavor. We had kind
Jess
of...
was in a whirlwind there, she said.
Yeah, we kind of had... Well, we knew what you guys wanted to see.
Everything happened so fast.
That you wanted to see all the things you could see, and you had a short window of time coming on Friday, race is Saturday, and you flew back out Sunday. So, and I think that was the right thing to do, to kind of plan some things for you to make sure we weren't stumbling about. So we all ran back over to the expo. Again, very convenient because the Airbnb was only 6 miles away. Ha, ha, ha. And then after some time at the expo, we came back, did an afternoon ride to get you guys out on some gravel. Now, did that help? I thought that was going to be something that would be helpful.
Yeah, it worked out well.
I thought it would, get a flavor for that. Might take some
legs.
Take some nerves away too over what the gravel was
and
like.
Amanda said the same thing you just did about her first ride. She was like, I don't know if I was tired or if I was just dehydrated or what like that, but she did not feel good on that first ride.
So I found out there, because the humidity was so low and the sun was so hot and there was no shade to hide in, it was sun, that I just could not drink enough water. I just felt like I was continually dehydrated. We hooked up with Dave again, went to dinner in downtown Lincoln at Yaya's Pizza, Yaya's Pizza, something like Hey, I don't know. But it was good. I ate an entire 16-inch pizza myself, and it was delicious. And I think we all had pizza, right? I think everybody had pizza.
Yeah, we all had pizza.
Which is a perfect pre-ride food.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of carbs, lots of juice and energy in there.
You just do Alfredo 5 minutes before you start.
Yeah. Alfredo gives you lots of energy.
Yeah.
That was from The Office.
So Saturday's race day. We had this early evening on Friday, and it was a 7 a.m. start. And I think our timing was good, don't you, Jess? Mm-hmm. We got over there about 6:15 or so to begin the process of getting everything put together. I think we got there just after the 150s left at 6 a.m. We probably got there just after they left. Now, it's a mass start, which, I don't know, how did you feel about the start?
I felt fine. I mean, I didn't clip in for a very long time because it was just 2 rows of people going for, I don't know, the first 8 miles, 7 miles. I mean, it was a long time that people were together in that line.
Yeah.
I was okay with mass start. I was in the back. I just didn't clip in. And then once we got to like the actual road-ish part in the development, I clipped in then. I just apologized to people behind me. I'm like, whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to clip in now.
Well, I I'm not crazy about the mass starts, but Larry and I ducked in at the 5-hour window. So they had it like they had cuts in the corral so that you could say, okay, there's the 4-hour, 5-hour, 6-hour. So you could kind of dive in where you thought you were going to want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we dove in at the 5-hour, which I thought was, being a little bit, and it turned out I was close. Larry was really close to that 5-hour window, but seemed like it was the right place for us to be. And they described the route over and over. Jason talked about the route being death by 1,000 cuts with the elevation and those hills. It was either up or down, up or down, up or down. Because at the end of 70 miles, we had just shy of 6,000 feet of gain. That's a lot when you don't have any single hill that's over 150 feet of climb.
Yeah.
That's just, you're either going up or either going down. The lines on the course developed really quickly, though. Did you notice that like you didn't have to work too hard to find a line?
So I kind of ducked behind people that were making really good lines. Rachel made really good lines. She's a really strong rider. And she had a really good time. She was in front of me and I could follow her lines nice and easy. And then Cameron was on the course. I met her at the Oasis, like we were actually talking. But on course, she made really good lines and she was steady the entire time.
Yeah.
So I ducked behind people like that who made good lines and stuff like that.
Did you have any issues with the loose corners or the intersections? That seems like where the gravel got really loose.
Yeah, I had the hardest time out of everything. The hard mud was fine. I really liked that part. The loose gravel was fine, but it was the turns. There was 1 or 2 times where I'm like, I am unclipping. And I did unclip and walk the turn and just get back on my bike right after the turn.
Smart out, flat out.
Yeah, that's
you
smart.
Work on your mountain biking for that.
So there were overlapping courses and at Gravel Worlds, and I think this is just the evolution of Midwest gravel. They don't mark the course, and I kind of liked that. I really appreciated it. You had to know your route. Now, how did you do with your Garmin? Did your Garmin keep you on course?
Yeah, it kept me on course, but I had people the entire time. So Rachel was either waiting for me at an aid station or something like that. Nadine and Amanda were there with me to the first checkpoint. We kind of split ways at the first checkpoint. But there was always somebody around who I could ask, like, hey, which ride are you doing? And am I going the right way? But my Garmin had me the correct way the entire time.
Awesome. I noticed that, there were so many overlapping courses that you would find yourself riding along with the 150 rider, and then they would turn right and you turn left. Or you would have the 30-mile riders were coming straight at you, and you're like, okay, did I mess up? Because there were times where I kind of got away from people. So you had to know your route. And for me, this is how I treated the aid stations, Jess, and I'm curious to see how you did. They were really fast stops. They did such a great job with water. They stood there with hoses and never ran out, Joey. They never ran out of water. They stood there with hoses, and you just took your bottle cap off. Or for me, I took the hydration pack off, opened it up, and you just walked up, and a hose went out, and you filled it up, and then you walked away. It was super quick.
What did Larry eat at the
I don't know.
Did he like a homeless man again, or?
No, I think Larry didn't stop. I only stopped. My stoppage time was less than 10 minutes for the entire 75 miles. It was like 9 minutes and some odd change was my moving time versus my stop time. Because all I did at that first station, was dive in, fill the water bottle, and I grabbed a pickle out of a pickle bin, which is maybe why I'm sick right now because of all the hands that were in the pickle bin.
No, that sourness just kills germs.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you're right. And off I went. So I was there for probably less than 2 minutes. Jess, how did you deal with aid stations?
I kind of hung out with my friends, kind of talked. Nadine and Amanda were usually there at the checkpoints or the aid stations. So we talked to people. We talked to people who own the houses and stuff like that. We like to talk. We like to talk to our friends. And then we like to eat too. So like whenever somebody stopped, I would just eat something.
Yeah.
Was there any of the locals like handing out beer and stuff on the side of the road?
So there were some Boy Scouts that had
they were handing out beer, weren't they?
They weren't handing out beer. They were selling water and Cokes and stuff like that. There was one aid station that was the time check station where you had to go across the mats, and there was an in and an out, and everybody was going a different direction. The 150s and the 75s were going in and out the same way. I think the 30s and the 3 might have been coming in a different way and going out a different way. It was mayhem. It was absolute mayhem.
But there was a nice photo stop. You got your picture
Yeah,
taken. You got by the big GW, and you had the beautiful
I never even saw that.
Well, because you were too busy trying to go
You
fast.
spent 9 minutes stopping total.
Exactly. If you were, took a break and talked to the people. I ate lunch at a trash can right next to a porta potty.
That I think is your proudest moment. Eating lunch at a trash can next to a porta john.
And she used a porta john.
Yep.
While she was there, that was.
So at that aid station, all I did was once again water up my hydration pack, my beautiful orange mud hydration pack. I grabbed the Coke, slammed the pickle juice, and I was out. My nutrition for the day. Now I did a rundown. I did a little recap. I had 2 packs of scratch gummies with the caffeine in them. I had a pack of salt lick chewable electrolyte tablets, which were fantastic. I had never used them, and I get a little nervous about that. But I loved the idea of chewing my electrolyte as opposed to putting it in the water. I hate electrolytes in the water. I just think it makes the water taste bad, and I hate that.
Yeah, get a good flavor.
So I had 1 real pickle. I had 2 bottles of pickle juice. I carried 2 bottles on my back and the hydration pack. I kept the bottles in reserve until the hydration pack ran dry after the last aid station. That the Endurance Pack 3.0, that was 2 liters or roughly 70 ounces of water. It ran dry on me at the end of the race, and I had at least half of it refilled twice at the aid station. I'm going to estimate I drank about 150 to 160 ounces of water on course that day, which is about 8 bottles, 8 bottles, somewhere in that neighborhood. And it worked. It worked for me. Jess, how did your nutrition work out?
Damn dog is so spoiled.
It was fine. So actually today I had nutrition, so it was appropriate that we talked about what I ate on course. Because the honey stingers, we could buy them at Fleet Feet. I did that. And I bought some honey stingers, and they were small, and I knew they wouldn't be liquid by the end, because it would be hot, or it could be hot. But I was doing full calorie Gatorade.
Okay.
So I put that in at the Malcolm station, and that was about it. At each aid station, I had a Coke and a waffle, and that was about it. So yeah. I mean, anytime somebody stopped, I ate something.
Smart.
Because as I learned today, your cells can't open up for the electrolytes unless you have carbs and water in your body.
Okay.
So without the carbs or water, the electrolytes don't come in. So even if you're taking in electrolytes and you have no carbs or water, your cells won't open up for the electrolytes to go in.
Okay.
So that's why it's really important that you're eating ample amounts and drinking ample amounts.
You're balancing all of those things.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
it's about carbs, it's about electrolytes, and it's about water.
Yeah. So that's, because I was talking about, I never drink full calorie Gatorade. Even I asked you at the stop, I was like, do I drink full calorie Gatorade? Because, you're in this mindset every day of less calories, blah, blah, blah. But when you're doing something like this, you need all the calories you can get.
Yeah.
Joey always describes it like an eating contest. And it's just what you can keep down.
Yeah. You got to be careful with, you can overeat it, and then that can kind of slow you down. And I think it's just that balanced approach of I'm never pounding. There were people lined up to get hot dogs. I really don't think I could have eaten a hot dog at
my friend Rachel put a hot dog in her pocket, and then she
pocket dog.
Yeah, she had she ate the hot dog, and she's like, "Wow, this is a really good hot dog." So she took a hot dog and put it in her pocket, and was riding off, and then she pulled it out to eat more food, and then the hot dog fell on the ground, so she wasn't able to eat her hot dog.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, right.
Well, how long did the hot dog lay on the ground? Did somebody run it over?
I have no idea. I don't know where she was, nor did I. Was not focused. I don't know. I didn't see the hot dog on the ground.
So everyone finished, which I did not ever doubt that everyone was going to finish, but I am so excited that everybody did finish. And congrats to Larry for finishing 10th in his age group, 10th overall in his age group, and I think 150th out of something in overall for the 75 male. fantastic job. Great effort, Larry. And thanks, Larry,
I
for.
don't think Larry's 75 though. I think you just
No,
for the 75 ride.
miles,
Oh, okay.
75
I
miles.
thought you meant for the 75. I was like,
Now-
I don't think Larry's 75.
Larry hooked me up with beet gummies in the morning. Have you ever tried beet gummies?
No.
So he gave me this long spiel about this was a big part of his, his Sugarfoot, the vitamins and everything that he consumes every day, a big part of that program. And so he said these will give you energy. They'll increase your oxygen. So I was up for anything. I took 2 beet gummies in the morning, and the way that my race day went, about mile 15 to 20, somewhere in there, it kind of kicked in, and I never felt bad all day. So I credit the beet gummies for great performance. Thank you, Larry, for the beet gummies. So after everything was over, lots of afternoon beer and celebrations. I got to meet some cool people. I got to catch up with Christy Moan from Unbound. Her and Leland Danes have been on the podcast. She's sort of one of the event folks with Unbound. I got the opportunity to have a little meet and greet with Bobby Wintle from Mid-South, which I thought was a lot of fun. What a great guy. He was there because there was that whole crossover between Mid-South and Gravel Worlds this year. And Bobby and I have had some follow-on conversations, and we're making some plans to have him on the podcast very, very soon. I'm excited about that. Who did you get to meet and talk to that you're excited to?
Well, I met a lot of people on course. I usually do. I usually just talk to people all day. And that was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just nice people. I mean,
I know there was Ben from Philly Bike Expo with Adventure
yep,
for All.
Ben was great. I mean, he does great things for his community. Rachel.
Doug from Goodar.
Yep. He does great things for the community. I think it's
Yeah, it was so much fun to have that opportunity to kind of spend that time talking to people. The award ceremony, they did a great job of recognizing a lot of different. They did top 3 on all the races: the 50K, the doubles, the 75s, the 30s, the 150s, right on down the line from all the age groups. And yeah, that made the awards ceremony go on for a while, but it was really cool to have so many people being acknowledged. Then once we left that night, it was kind of like what do we do now? And we went out to dinner with Dave again, and that was really nice.
I was extremely, extremely, extremely jealous.
Yeah, that we got to spend so much time with Dave.
A lot of Dave.
We had a lot of Father Dave time, which is nice. It's really nice because sometimes when we see him at Unpaved, it's like it's very. You're running, and catching up with him on his plans with Unpaved and how that's going to come off this year. And I think it's like 46 or 45 days Unpaved right now. Did you know that? Dave, did you know that?
yes.
So that kind of wrapped up race day. Then Sunday, it was up early for a long drive from Nebraska back to West Virginia. You and Amanda got on a plane. How was your flight?
Amazing.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Easy.
Yeah. Did you really?
How weird is that?
That is super
I
weird.
know.
Was he there for the
I
race?
told him that we should talk the entire time and figure out where our lives have cross path. But,
Joey didn't like that.
He did not want to do that. He slept. So and then he apologized for taking up all the space. And I was like, "You're fine. I saw your whoops at 8%. So I think you really need to sleep."
Was he there for Gravel Worlds?
No, he was there for
who knows what.
who knows what.
Oh wow, how cool is that? So our drive back, instead of 21 hours, was 18 hours. Maybe it was the tailwinds. Maybe it was a working catalytic converter. I don't know, but we took 3 hours off of the drive. And then Monday, we got out early, and I was home by noon the next day. So, a whirlwind, long week of fun in Nebraska. Kudos to the entire team at Gravel Worlds. What an amazing event. I don't know if you read it, but Peter Stetna did a sort of a recap. Have you read his recap yet? There was a tandem, 2 guys from the Netherlands that actually mixed it up in the front pack for the entire day.
There was lots of tandems out there.
But there was one that finished 3rd overall in the 150.
Our friend Marge from
Is that 3rd or 4th?
3rd.
And 4th?
Well, see, I don't know. That was the whole question, and he brought that point up. He's like, I'm not exactly sure where they finished and where I finished because who knows? But
So Marge is from Hush Money Bikes.
uh-huh.
Nate credited her to one of, a really good friend of the bike shop and a really good customer. She won the 300, the long voyage, on a single speed. She was third out of everybody, and then she won her single speed category.
Amazing.
What a great woman to meet that day. It was awesome.
Oh, cool. But this event, while it is Gravel Worlds, and there are a lot of elite racers that are there, and there's a lot of, prowess that comes with winning and accolades, they really did a fantastic job of focusing on the other 99% and making sure that everybody that crossed that line was acknowledged and had this feeling of like they had accomplished something. And I went back and looked at the results. There were not a lot of DNFs. There was very few. Some of these events you'll see a long list of the DNFs at the end. There were very few. People were ready for this, and it was just an incredibly fun day, but also a fun week. So, you guys want to do some this or that?
Well, I want to say my segment.
Oh, please go
Isn't it
ahead.
my segment time?
Yeah, please. I thought you were kind of diving in as we were talking.
Well, you talk about all the stuff I don't care about,
Okay,
right?
we'll go-
Like,
okay.
I mean, not that like I don't care what you have to say, but Larry, I pulled into the finish line and Larry's like, "Do you want to end your ride at your Garmin?" I was like, "I don't use that. Like, I don't do these things." Just because, I don't. It's stats and numbers and elevation are all things like, it happened. I knew I did about 78 to 80 miles. I kept first I was like 78.5. And I was like, well, then technically it's 79, but then technically that's 80. So technically I'm just going to say I did an 80-mile ride.
Perfect.
But this was my A race, and I DNF'd every single race before this year. So I DNF'd Croatan. I didn't finish the completed of the mileage I was supposed to. Dirty Kitten, I didn't complete the mileage I was supposed to. Grusk, I didn't complete the mileage I was supposed to. So this was a lot of did not finish the entire races building up to this point. So it felt good to be like, this is what I get. This is it, Joey's working. Joey doesn't have this opportunity to be there. He packed my good attitude in my pocket. I need to make the best out of the entire 80 miles. And to sum it up, that's what I think I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I was second from last. And Dave said second to last is his favorite place to be in. So right, he said that at dinner. So that was pretty special. But yeah, that was it. It's all I had to do. All I had to do was finish those 80 miles that day. And Joey said I had to come in one piece, but he didn't care what miles I did. But that was it. That was my A race of the season for riding bikes.
Did you find it more mentally challenging or physically challenging?
I was in a pretty good mindset all day.
Yeah.
That's some things with anxiety. You can wake up and be in a terrible mindset and think the world's crap on you, or you can be like, wow, this is awesome. I like to think of my anxiety as a pendulum, right? If I can swing so far in anxiety mode, I can swing so far into a happy mode. So That's how I think of my anxiety, is like it's constantly moving. It's constantly going back and forth.
And even when you're on the, what would be, I don't know if it's the right terminology. Yeah. Even when you're on the anxious side,
yeah, exactly.
Because you've got that pendulum mindset. Exactly. It's coming back.
It could always come back. I mean,
I'm not going to be here in this place forever.
Exactly. It could have been at the rest stop. I would have done it. And that's why I kind of Amanda and Nadine were getting their bikes checked. They wanted to make sure everything was fine. And I told them, I was like, I ride a lot slower than you guys. I need to get my butt going. Like, I can't wait at the aid station long because it's going to get hotter. It's going to be a longer day. I'm going to want to get this done.
That was a huge part of the day too. There was a lot of like cloud cover in the morning.
Yeah.
And then after like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that sun came out. Like we talked about earlier, that sun was brutal.
Yeah, you could feel the heat. You could feel the heat. And every time I thought I was thirsty or every time I thought I was hungry, I ate something before that. So I was, I asked somebody, I was like, am I eating more than I should? And they kind of like looked at me and I was like, okay, maybe I should just keep eating because like, I didn't really, the longest ride I did was a 40-mile ride
Right.
and that's about half of it. So I didn't really prepare for how that back end was going to go. So yeah, I mean, it was my A race.
You crushed it.
I haven't been on a bike since, so that's partially because my bike is
still sitting in my house.
That's fine. That's fine. It can sit there all at once. It's back to running. I've missed every workout this week that I was supposed to do, but that's fine. Like a pendulum, it comes back. So yeah, that was Gravel Worlds. It was great to meet so many people that I talked to on Instagram.
Yeah, and it was. Yeah,
it was great to see Eric and Angie. I never met them before, but I follow them on Instagram. I love hearing their stories. I love their cute little family. So, I loved meeting them.
Yeah.
Sophia was the same way. She does the outreach community for Gravel Worlds. We talked to her a little bit we talked back and forth on Instagram about like social media marketing and fundraising and how it could be difficult and things like that. And fantastic to see her. To have a race director come up 5 minutes before they're going to start the race to give me my debit card because I lost it somewhere. Jason was like, I follow her on Instagram. I know who she is, like jokingly. So when I waved hi to him in the morning, he was like, oh, I have your debit card and ran me over my debit card because I lost it somewhere.
Had you told Joey that story yet?
Not till now.
Yeah. I lost my debit card. But Jason, at his event, like 5 minutes before the race was starting, ran over to me, gave it to me, and said, you might need this, and gave me a hug. And you really don't get, I would get that at Dave's event because I know Dave and, because, he does all these things with us. But at a big bike ride across the nation with that, like, would you get that? I don't know, So major kudos to the podcast and bringing us all these amazing people into our little gravel life.
It was interesting to sit because Larry and I sat right at the start finish line. So we watched that start finish line for almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Some of them beet gummies.
We weren't eating beet gummies. We were drinking the Shillingbridge Citrus Radler. We spent a lot of money on Shillingbridge beer that afternoon, which is a delicious beer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. But the energy level that Jason and Sophia and the volunteers and Bobby was there too.
Yep.
The energy level that they maintained at the start finish line. Wow. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how in the world they were actually able to keep that energy going. Fantastic. Just super, super fantastic.
So my actual favorite part of the event was I was riding next to this guy. He was a college professor. He taught somewhere in Iowa. He was a community college professor. He taught computer science. We were talking about things and he was asking me how I do my fundraising. And I said, mostly social media. And he said to me, so you drive halfway across the country and do gravel bikes? Or ride bikes? And I was like, no, I'm a middle school math teacher. And he was like, but you went halfway across the country and did a gravel bike ride. Like, that's who you are now. So, to have that being more than just a teacher these days and to have that, little false identity going on that I get to do, it's not false. I get to do these really awesome things.
Very real.
So, I mean, that was, I can't believe that out of all those things that I am, I get to do that.
Yeah, that's something you can hang your hat on too. Would you go back and do it again?
Yes. Just because I thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy who I follow on Instagram. He's actually a Good R ambassador, and he's called Minister of Gravel, and he does the Gravel Guru podcast. He did the 50K and the 150.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him next year that I would gladly do the 50K, but I would still do the 75-mile bike.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a long-term goal, and hopefully Jason will still donate $1 for every mile I do.
How much money did St. Jude money do you think you raised for that? Do you have a clue?
So $78.50.
Okay.
From my friend Jason. So at the finish line, he goes, "Well, I guess I owe you some money," and I was like, and I did the money symbol sign. So, I told him it was the hardest $75 I ever worked for. So
That's what she said.
now we can go to this or that.
Okay, let's do this or that. Said thank you for that.
I got one in here real quick. Dwight Schrute or Larry for your beat guy.
Oh my God, Joey, that was epic.
Larry is my beat guy from here on out.
So a lot of elite runners eat beets in their breakfast.
Uh-huh.
So that's why Picky Bars, Shaylin Flanagan's,
Larry Paris,
they all have beets in their breakfast.
Okay, well,
Beet juice, beet in their cranberry oats. Yeah.
I ordered the gummies, and I told Larry, I'm going to try your regimen, your nutrition regimen. And I was actually already taking. He does like glucosamine, chondroitin, magnesium, zinc, a whole long line of things. So. Okay, so this or that. A couple of them, I guess, are, well, I guess maybe they're, not all of them, but 3 of them are sort of like Gravel Worlds kind of oriented. And Jess, as
can I still play along?
You can still play along because you'll have a thought on this. First item: one big long climb a la Grusk, or 20/30 smaller climbs a la Gravel Worlds. Jessica.
I'm going first.
Yes.
It was Grusk, one big climb, or
Yeah.
Gravel Worlds, many little climbs all the time. A picture Amanda took of me, like my back is I'm facing riding and it's just a mountain. Like it was such a good picture of how it actually looked. I liked Grusk climbing.
Yeah.
But I also didn't come down.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did Gravel Worlds. And I was able to go up, down,
Mm-hmm.
down. But I don't really like the punchiness of it. Like, I don't like the punchiness of the plains was really hard for me because there were some steep up climbs. So I'm going to go Grusk.
Yeah.
Just because, like, once I get in the moment, that just go slow and just keep climbing. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, once I got the hang of the either going up or either going down, and once I gained a lot of confidence on that gravel out there as the day and the week progressed. I'm going to go with those punchy up downs. Joey,
I hate climbing.
So you'd go with the punchy up downs because you could pick up momentum. And
yeah, I don't know. Something about just keep going and going gets me.
Yeah.
I found it more peaceful when I was at Granduro this year versus on pave last year.
Yeah.
But I'd probably do the up down.
There's something zen like when you're on that long climb. You just kind of settle into it and you're kind of in it. Second item: food fight or a water balloon fight.
Ew.
Food fights happen at my school frequently.
Yeah.
Like people, like a lot of kids are really excited. Like hopefully we can get ketchup back and not like the packets because like they keep throwing things in our cafeteria like crazy and like they save the ketchup packets and put it under the toilet seat. So when then you get ketchup all over your butt pants and stuff like that. I don't want to be that person that cleans up the food fight, so I'm definitely gonna go water balloon fight.
Water balloon fight is intentional.
Yeah,
it's like fun.
Food
intentional.
fights.
Food fights like sometimes are like
nasty.
We had I can't remember how old she was, but we had a planned food fight for my daughter Casey at one of her birthday parties.
Yeah.
And it was spaghetti and Jello and all sorts of this kind of stuff. And they had the best time. So a planned food fight outdoors where you didn't have to pick everything up. It was actually kind of a lot of fun. But I'm still going to go with water balloon fight, Joey.
Well, I think balloons are stupid. From a standpoint of they're not good. But I don't want to clean up a food fight.
Yeah, I mean that's just it.
I don't want to be picking tomato sauce out of my ear.
No.
Craisins in the hair. The guys have long hair, and a lot of kids put craisins in each other's hair.
And both are a waste. I'll tell you that.
Yep. So you're going with the water balloon fight?
I hate balloons, but I also hate wasting food like that.
What do you hate about a balloon?
Balloons are horrible.
The environment.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, I'm tired. I wish they'd stop making balloons, but there's a lot of things that should stop making.
Or maybe they should make environmentally friendly balloons. Let's say that.
Let's go pick up moon jellies. That's what we used to do.
we
just chuck moon jellies at each other.
Okay, third item. You made a choice. You went with water balloon because
I went with moon jellies.
Jellies. Okay, electrolytes in your water, or so electrolyte powder in your water, or electrolyte tablets.
I like my liquid IV. I use it a lot. I used it quite frequently. I had one. I had my Nalgene filled with it for the beginning, and then I had Gatorade, and then I had Nalgene filled again. Nalgene of liquid IV again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go within my water. I don't know how I would get electrolytes from food.
Well, I mean, I had those tablets, the chewable tablets, and I really. So I'm gonna go with those.
I like food.
I really liked. Because I've always hated that. Oh, you got to add the powder to the water. Then it always tastes like that. I like just water. I like plain water, but I know that electrolytes are needed. So those tablets really hit the mark for me. Joey?
What were those? What were those?
Sticks.
Salt stick. Oh, God. That's the closest you ever dabbed to being a triathlete in a long time.
Is that something that they use?
Because you can we used to sell them at Parvella, and you used to be able to, they have the little tubes you could.
Mm-hmm.
You put them in your air bar extension. You can put them in your bar plugs.
Oh, yeah.
So they have the little dispensers that go in, the air bars for tri bikes.
Oh, I don't want
unless you're on the air bar thing for gravel, but that shouldn't be real.
Well, I mean, this was an endurance event.
Yeah.
So it had said some of the same
air bars don't belong on the gravel bikes. But if you decided to do that, you could put those in your little thing.
I will put them
in
my
you could put them in your bar ends on your...
I could put them in my money little orange mud little pocket.
That too, yeah. But it's kind of cool having a little Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
But I like my Scratch.
So I'm a big Scratch
I've always
fan.
gone back to Scratch, and we are so heavy with Scratch right now.
Yeah.
At the store.
Scratch is the gummies.
The only thing that never upsets my stomach.
And I get the ones that have the caffeine in them,
and
the sour cherry.
Like, the flavors, like the strawberry limeade or cherry limeade or whatever.
My bike friend Rachel had the Rice Krispie treats you have on them.
Oh my God, the Rice Krispie treats just came out.
Oh, really?
I'm taking those down to Richmond tomorrow.
Cool.
No, Scratch is where it's at. And then Mark Yangamasawa was doing those cool little Scratch bags for, little ditty bags for your back pockets. So I like flavored water.
Okay, all right, there we go. Last item, Midwest or Mid-Atlantic?
Y'all better be careful.
I don't know. The Midwest was fun. It was an experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Mid-Atlantic, we get to ride it. I get we get to run into a lot more listeners and stuff like that. Like usually people on course are like stopping me and like I'm so famous. Like people are stopping me and like being like, "Oh my God, hi Jess," where I was like, kind of most people just knew me from Instagram, just because I gram my life, so I really don't. But yeah, maybe Mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic for me all day long. I like my Appalachian friends from Pennsylvania, West Virginia, North Carolina. Midwest was fun. Lincoln is beautiful. I'd go back to visit again. But Mid-Atlantic is where it's at. Joey?
That's why they call those flyover states. Mid-Atlantic's where it's at.
Yeah.
Specifically Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I'm slowly luring my wife subliminally. We will end up in Pennsylvania soon. Maybe 10 years from now or 20.
This is a good opportunity to just lump all of those Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and West Virginia friends into the good pile.
Called the Mid-Atlantic?
Just say Mid-Atlantic is
Mid-Atlantic's where it's at.
Where it's at. All right, you guys. Anybody got anything
about
else?
it? We're very fortunate. We have everything here.
Yeah. We got hills. We got mountains. We've got oceans. We've got bays. We've got
crackheads. We got everything.
Have you got anything else that you want to talk about? To things, I know you got some things that are coming up at the shop that you want to do.
So I'm actually planning. So we did the planes. So as a shop, as Patuxent Adventure Center, not a cycling club that is correlated with the shop, I am doing shop monthly gravel trip. So Patuxent Adventure Center hosted. I kind of fell behind on planning a September one. It'll still happen probably the second or third week. I either want that to be fun or unpaved prep.
Okay.
But I'll probably announce that in the next day or so.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We had a lot of listeners at the last one, but it was in a weird part of vacation into summer school.
September will be different.
Yeah.
And make sure you check it out because Hush Money just announced a September.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's the Mishu gravel grinder, and I was going to go to Mishu that weekend, 16th and 17th. So, I have something different in the works right now, actually.
Excellent. So more to come on that. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you enjoy the podcast, maybe consider joining us on our Patreon family. But really, the best way to support the podcast is to just share it with your friends. Tell your friends all about it. Joey, how can folks get in touch with us if they would like to contact us?
Well, people touched me at the gravel rides, so if you want to come do that. Otherwise, we're at graveltraveldirt.com. And we're at Mid-Atlantic GTD on the gram.
Rock the Instagram.
You did the reels.
Yeah, I did the reels while we were gone, and I thought I did a pretty good job, Jess. Do I get Jess approval on my social media?
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course.
I was.
One of your songs made me cry a little bit, so I don't know about that. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was what it's meant to do. Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in Blake's kitchen. All of us together. It's been the first time we've done this in a while.
It was,
I was
nice
so
to be back.
excited.
It was nice to talk about Gravel Worlds. Thanks, everybody.
So thanks for riding along. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Touch you, bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.